Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me? I am the Reverend Ellen Quaadgras, serving in co-ministry here at South Church with Kirsten Hunter, our Director of Lifespan Ministry, together supporting you in your ministries to each other and to a wider world. Welcome wherever you've come from, whether you are in person or joining us online. Welcome to this place where we connect and learn and grow, where there is comfort for whatever it is you're carrying and inspiration for your challenges. Here we unite in common purpose and support one another on our individual and collective paths. Welcome to this time, to this sanctuary built on land cared for by the Abenaki and Pennacook peoples who are still here, who did not willingly cede this land, and who still fight for full acknowledgement. We pay respects to their care, to this history, and to their ongoing presence. Our theme this month is presence, and today, in the midst of the holiday season, we bring our attention, our presence, to family. All kinds of families. Families of one, like me, families of many, families with children, families without, families of the chosen kind, families that are blended, families with losses, and families that are growing. There are so many kinds of family in the world and in this place. And what I love about this service is that we make room for all of them, for your kind of family. Whatever it looks like, and we proclaim everyone is blessed. I'm particularly grateful for the 4 families who will share a little bit about themselves this morning, and the 5th, actually, Anna Howard, will also share a little bit about her family. You will notice, tucked inside your order of service, perhaps, a decathlon card, which is white this morning because of a little printer issue, but next week it will be Christmas green, holiday green. If you're new and have no idea what this is, or if you're not new and really just don't get it yet, you can use the link or the QR code at the bottom of the page to go to at the bottom of the card to go to a page with more information. There you will also find articles, videos, and links referred to on the card. In particular, there's one item I invite you, in response to our challenging times, to consider inspiring one another by sharing a story in which you faced something difficult and found more depth or joy or wholeness on the other side. So if you send those to me, we'll post them anonymously on the bulletin board downstairs so you can hear from each other how you get through hard things. And yes, although I haven't mentioned it in a little while, we will indeed, I know you want one, we will have gold stars available at coffee hour to affirm whatever your spiritual practice efforts have been lately. I invite you to look at your order of service to see all the wonderful people involved in making our service happen today. As mentioned, Anna Howard, our worship associate. Jen Del Deo-Barry will be stepping in for Kirsten Hunter, who could not be here today for the Time for All Ages. Jen Lydon and Susan Adams will be offering the gift of music. And Ben Abbott is doing tech so that our folks online can be here with us in more than just spirit. Please note that all children and youth are invited to go downstairs after the Time for All Ages for religious education classes. If there are any kids that are new to South Church, I invite parents to walk your children down and sign them in, help them settle. And everyone is welcome to join us downstairs for fellowship after the service, where coffee treats and conversation await you. And your question for today, to ask someone you do not know well: does a dusting of snow in December make you perk up and make you happy? Or does it feel like the harbinger of slippy, slidey, slushy, shovelly times that do not make you happy? So it's a very important question. I want you to invite you to talk to one another about that. There are large print hymnals in the back for those who would like them. We also have assistive listening devices. An usher can help you with either one. Please silence your cell phone if you have one, and it is now time for some announcements.
And I'm going to make them really quick this morning. Kids, youth, you guys are all invited downstairs after worship this morning for our holiday fair. It is free Christmas shopping for your friends and family. Lots of stuff that's donated downstairs so you guys can do some shopping. Vespers solstice service, December 18th, 6:30. It's in your order of service. We need ushers for Christmas Eve. We're doing a 5 p.m. and an 8 p.m. service. We need about 4 or 5 ushers per service. Come see me downstairs. Christmas Eve services, I just said, 5 and 8. 5 at here in person, 8 in person and online. Chili sale, New Year's Eve, downstairs, senior youth. And then after the fireworks, come back here for the Last Blast concert. We are working with Continuum Arts Collective, having a fundraising concert on the 31st. Tickets are available tomorrow morning on Portsmouth NH Tickets. All that stuff is in your order of service. So give it a good read. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near.
As we light the chalice, we share these words by bell hooks. Love is an action, a participatory emotion, whether through acts of forgiveness, kindness, or care. We can choose to nurture the bonds that hold us, even when they feel fragile. We also kindle now the lights of the season, starting with the first Advent candle, with words adapted from Reverend Teresa Ninan Soto. Light now the Advent candle 1, the work of waiting has begun. A single flame now shining bright beams hope through the long stretch of night. We light this candle week 2, since love is bright, is bringing something new, liberation on its way, for which we work and also pray. Now please rise and join us in reciting our mission statement that is printed in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. My family of origin is a small one, just my parents and my brother. We have all lived in a small 2-bedroom apartment on the first floor of a high-rise in a residential area of a suburban Moscow since 1975. Though my brother and I moved out, started our own families, my parents still live in that little apartment. I'm lucky to have them with me still. They're both in their 80s now. After moving to the US 30 years ago, I used to visit Russia and stay in that small little apartment almost every year, sometimes twice a year, sometimes 3 times, if there was a big birthday or a wedding. Now I don't know when I will see them next. It's not just because it's more complicated to get to Moscow. But as someone who opposes the war and said so openly on social media, it's dangerous for me now to get there. Even if I did, I don't know how I would talk to my parents now. Since the invasion of Ukraine in 2022, our relationship has become much harder to navigate. Both my parents and my brother defend the Russian government by repeating the line of fighting Nazis in Ukraine and liberating Russian-speaking people. Not only do I strongly oppose this war, but I actively support the Russian opposition activists who keep working to bring Putin's regime down. They think I am a victim of Western propaganda. I think they're blinded by Russian state media. Where does it leave us, almost 3 years later? My father and I, who have always been each other's favorite people, still text almost every day on WhatsApp, carefully sticking to safe topics like the weather, gardening, my kids, their own grandkids and great-grandkids, our family friends. In our way, it's our way of holding on to something that feels fragile but important. Occasionally we slip and the fights erupt. And you know what fights look like on a WhatsApp? Like this. So at some point I have to type, let's go back to the weather. Our connection feels thin, full of holes, but I've decided to keep it, as imperfect as it is. We've learned to cherish what we still share, even though it's not everything. My relationship with my parents and my brother may be strained, but it's also irreplaceable. For now, I hold on to what we have, hoping it will be enough. Now, please rise as you are able and join us in singing hymn 360, Here We Have Gathered.
Circle of kinship, come
anyone who would like to share in a time for all ages is invited to come right up here and sit on the floor with me. They can be kids, teens, adults. Let's make this a cozy spot. And I'm wondering if Sasha and Soryn could help me with something over here. Through, Ollie. Okay, our friend Jet Pig is here today. If you don't know Jet Pig, they help us learn what it means to be a Unitarian Universalism with all these special words that we learn a lot about downstairs. And Jet Pig is fueled by love. Today, it's pretty wintry and snowy out there, and this is also a season with a lot of holidays, so we need to get Jet Pig into their festive, warm wear. Special hat, hopefully stays on. A little scarf, so Jet Pig stays warm. Okay. So this morning, Kirsten was going to do the Time for All Ages, and she's not feeling well today. So she is staying home to rest and get well and to protect all of us from getting sick. But she sent me the notes of what she was going to tell you all. I have them on this magical device in my pocket. So like I said, this is a season with a lot of holidays. And you may have noticed that starting last week, we started lighting the Advent wreath, which is up there on the table by the wreath. And Advent is a tradition that comes from a lot of Christian religions that is about preparation and anticipation, and it's celebrated for the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas. And pretty soon, we're also in worship. We'll be lighting the Advent wreath and a Yule log. And Yule is a pagan tradition that celebrates the return of the light, kind of like celebrating the sun's birthday. And so we'll have those lights also. And Hanukkah this year starts on December 25th. And so in a couple of weeks, we'll start lighting a menorah, which is a symbol from a Jewish tradition that celebrates resilience and freedom among people during a really remarkable event that happened that we'll talk about more in the coming weeks. And so we have all of these symbols. They're all connected with light, aren't they? I think that's really interesting. And there are other symbols from other faith traditions, like Kwanzaa and Diwali and other religions that all have symbols and traditions. And sometimes you might wonder why we have all these different traditions in our worship instead of just focusing on Unitarian Universalism. So we have a light that we light every week, right? What is it? I hear whispers.
It's a chalice.
It's a chalice, right. So the reason that we light all of these different symbols and acknowledge them in our worship this time of year has to do with the P of Jet Pig. Does anybody remember? I mean, it's right here, but it's a big word. Does anybody know that word?
Pluralism.
Pluralism. And do you remember what that word means? It's okay. Anybody remember pluralism? Plural means many. Pluralism means that we not only respect, but we really appreciate and value that we come from all different traditions, and we all bring wisdom, and our faith is made up of and inspired by and contains the tradition of many other faith communities. That's what pluralism is. And there are only 7 words that we focus on as our UU identity, and pluralism is so important that it's one of them, meaning that we celebrate that we all come from different traditions and that makes us more diverse and whole. And it also helps us to focus on this one, which is interdependence. That's the I of JetPig. Interdependence means that we are all connected and we all need each other and we all have things to offer. So that's why we include all these different symbols in our worship at this time of year. And I wonder if any of you have traditions in your families at this time of year, any symbols or traditions that you really appreciate, that you bring with you. Does anyone have a holiday tradition that you would like to tell us about? Nobody? You don't celebrate anything? Oh, I see one.
I like decorating our Christmas tree.
Christmas tree, that's a symbol of a holiday tradition, isn't it?
I like eating Santa's cookies when he doesn't finish them.
Oh yeah, Santa cookies are a great symbol.
Listening to Christmas music.
Listening to special music, that's a great symbol also. Do you want to share one? Yeah? Do you want Dad to help you share?
He said he loves the special holidays of this time of year.
Yeah, me too. I love that there are a lot of special holidays this time of year.
Playing in the snow.
Oh, yes, playing in the snow. That's a great tradition too. Oh, Soryn, I'm sorry.
Usually on like the Christmas night or before Christmas, usually make tamales, which are really good.
That's a great tradition. I also love the traditions around New Year's, which might seem far away. It's coming right up in just a couple of weeks. So that opportunity to renew and decide, like, what do I want to change in my life right now? There's so many. And because there are so many traditions and symbols, and we bring them all here, the point is not to know everything about every tradition and to be perfect in understanding all of it. The point is to include and to lift up that we are a faith that is pluralistic, and to center that on love, and to remember that no one way is the only way to celebrate, and that we all have so many beautiful parts of our lives, and that's what this place is about. And so now, any kids who would like to help, we're going to go downstairs and start preparing for another favorite tradition that happens 2 weeks from today, right here.
It's time for the Offertory. Let us generously share our resources to support our building, our dedicated staff, and the vibrant community that nurtures us all. During the month of December, our collection will be shared with Families First. Families First is part of a network of community health centers providing primary care, pediatrics, dental care, prenatal care, and more to people of all income levels, insured or uninsured. They deliver innovative and compassionate health services and support that are accessible to all regardless of ability to pay. The offering will now be received.
Let us gather our hearts and minds in a spirit of prayer or meditation with these words by the Reverend Richard Gilbert. Life is always unfinished business. In the midst of a whirling day, in the hectic rush to be doing, in the frantic pace of life, pause here for a moment. Catch your breath. Relax your body. Loosen your grip on life. Consider that our lives are always unfinished business. Imagine that the picture of our being is never complete. Allow your life to be a work in progress. Do not hurry to mold the masterpiece or rush to finish the picture. Do not be impatient to complete the drawing. From beckoning birth to dawning death, we are in process, and there is always more to be done. Do not let the incompleteness weigh on your spirit. Do not despair that imperfections mark your day. Do not fear that we are still in the making. Let us instead be grateful that the world is still to be created. Let us give thanks that we can be more than we are. Let us celebrate the power of incompleteness and be simply present to life, always unfinished business. Amen. In the music that follows, you are invited to be still and reflect or pray or meditate on whatever is in your heart. You are also invited to light a candle for a joy or a sorrow that is in you, if you like. As always, I and Kirsten welcome hearing from you what is happening in your life, good as well as difficult. Please reach out if you need us. And we now begin this time of reflection and lighting of candles. May we draw strength from our being together, knowing that our joys are multiplied and become brighter, and our sorrows less heavy when we lift them up in this shared and open space. Amen. So this is the third year I have gotten to organize this service, and I have been grateful for the opportunity every time. Because those three little words that define it, holy, holy, and holy, each spelled a little differently, are such good reminders to me of a larger truth that always exists, no matter what messages the culture at large may be sending to the contrary. Because always, but it seems especially in holiday times, we get the message, or at least I feel the message, that we and our families and our lives are supposed to look a certain way. Polished, together, always smiling, with gentle music in the background and piles of presents under a decked-out tree. This is not always the reality for everyone, nor do we even necessarily want it to be. So I love the idea that we get to be holy, H-O-L-E-Y. We get to have holes, gaps, missing pieces, broken parts, and challenges in our lives. Some of us may be missing family members who we love in this season. Some of us may be struggling with illness, job loss, or a host of other things. We all have holes in ourselves and missing parts and gaps in the fabric of family. It is part of the human condition. And yet, we are also always whole, W-H-O-L-E. Fully human, fully here, fully worthy. And every family and type of family is also whole, no matter what the messaging out there might be. Whether you are single, partnered, inherited family, chosen one, queer, without kids or with, trans, straight, divorced, remarried, happily single, or in search of a soulmate, you 100% count as family. And every single one of us is holy, H-O-L-Y, precious, sacred, dear, deserving of love and deserving of kindness and care and compassion, simply irreplaceable. Today, we celebrate this greater truth. We all belong. We all are precious. It is good to remember that. So, the way this service works is that each family unit has been invited to come up with an object that represents something about them. They will each share about that object and then place it on the altar. Then, before they go back to their seat, they will pause as we, together, affirm their holiness and holiness with these words: we honor and bless this family. You can watch my hands for the signal, and because it can be hard to all do things together, we're going to practice. Ready? We honor and bless this family. Oh, you guys are fast. So I'd like to invite our first family up to the lectern.
Hello, we are the Taylor Brown family. We are
Soryn.
Declan.
Bryan.
And I'm Stacy. We live in Newmarket and have been attending South Church for the last 12 years, albeit on a very inconsistent basis. The object we have chosen today is a picture of a homemade driftwood cribbage board that Declan made for my birthday this year. We left it on the counter that the picture illustrates. But we were thinking about how we are so often distracted and engrossed in work, homework, and everyday goings-ons. And of course, the constant pull of devices. And we recognize that we are at our best when we are playing games together. Well, perhaps we're not always at our best. There was that time that Declan ripped the Candyland board when he was in striking distance of winning, or when Soryn flipped the Monopoly board.
No, I didn't.
But we are at our best when we are present, taking the time to do something collectively. Each summer, we take 2 major summer trips, one to Mount Blue in Maine with extended family, and another to Millinocket, Maine with just the 4 of us, in a small cabin on a big lake. Both trips are completely disconnected from devices. We are immersed in the natural surroundings, and there are games, lots and lots of games. At Mount Blue, the kids, usually at least 6 of them, fill any time not swimming or eating with magic, D&D, exploding kittens, or some form of mafia. All the adults will attest that this scene is one of the most heartwarming of the trip.
In Millinocket, when it is just our core family group, we've invented a yearly driftwood derby. We all attempt to create a seaworthy vessel from driftwood and sticks. There are unnatural elements, thumbtacks, cardboard string, pieces of trash bags for sails. On the final day, we have a race. Last summer, the kids even made prizes and medals from construction paper to honor the great and not so great sailing capabilities of our inventions. Which brings us to the driftwood cribbage board. When Stacy and I moved to New Hampshire, we taught ourselves to play cribbage off the little insert in the pack of bicycle playing cards. It was a favorite of her dad's, but neither of us knew how to play. So we taught ourselves pretty much correctly and ended up playing hundreds of games over the years. The kids now have gotten to play too. It's a great math game, by the way, for kids. So on Stacy's birthday this year, we had a pretty easy gift idea. On reflection, this object that we forgot to bring does represent our family quite well. Thank you.
And that's a wrap. Who put that there? Mercury. Dang Mercury. Good morning. My name is Carla Cole, and I am representing the Cole family. Myself, Andrew, Caden, and Parker, and too many animals at home. Although it's just me up here, I do have everyone's permission to tell our story. Our family is rooted in connection, love, and growth. I was a single parent with infant Caden when I met Drew. He adopted Caden when she was 3 years old. When we were married. And 3 years later, Parker rocketed into this world, literally in 10 minutes. As older parents, we used to say that we hope Parker is out of diapers before we are in them. We believe that our relationships with one another form the foundation of who we are, giving us strength and guiding our choices. Every time we travel together, we learn and connect more as a family, asking hard questions and sometimes harder answers. Caden is a non-binary young adult with autism and ADHD. Parker is the fun age of 13. Insert eye roll, with the same diagnosis, but very different strengths and challenges. You can imagine how exciting things can be in our house. If you heard Caden's comedy act on Star, you know what I mean. We tried to keep laughing. 2023 was a really hard year for us, Both kids struggled in different ways. We were in crisis survival mode for most of the year. We welcomed 2024 together in Panama with enthusiasm and excitement in our hearts for a fresh new year. Being a part of South Church has been a gift. Our kids are 5th generation South Church members, so we have deep roots. If asked a word that describes South Church for us, I can easily respond with love. Whether we are Christmas and Easter people or just school year people, we are always welcomed with unconditional love. Caden found themselves through senior youth, and Parker is connecting with peers at coming of age. We are beyond grateful for this second home. In our family, we strive to create a space where we all feel seen, heard, and valued. Life is full of change and unexpected challenges. We embrace these moments as opportunities to grow stronger and deepen our bonds. With 6 years between the kids, it can be a bumpy road to instill those bonds. We celebrate our story and family dynamics and all the challenges they offer. Supporting it all is a home of love and mutual respect, most of the time. When we travel, we typically pick up a family phrase or something that sticks for whatever reason. Humor is the key in heaviness of some days. A special memory we've brought into our home is Guadalupe. A vacation week in North Carolina, the power went out. My mom was with us, thank goodness. This is the candle that Drew went out to the nearest store for candles. All he could find was a candle of Guadalupe. When he came home with this, we couldn't help but laugh. So she stuck. And now we light Guadalupe at every family meal and are reminded to find the humor in the hard times.
Good morning. My name is Crystal Edington, not Ellington, as you see in your service. And I'm here this morning with my husband, Gordon. We're also joined by our 2 daughters, Alexa, who is 10, and Grace, who is 7, and they're downstairs in the wonderful Aria program and OWL program. Our family fits one of the more traditional definitions of family, but of course that makes it no more or less valid of a family than any other type of family unit that we're up here with this morning. As we reflect on what we wanted to say this morning, we were thinking about this month's theme of presence and the difficulty of raising kids to be present in a world of screens, never-ending activities, and distractions at every turn. With that, one of the things that is both meaningful to our family and allows us moments of living in the present is music.
So with that, the object that we've brought with us this morning is a music album. As an aside, it was particularly difficult to find an actual physical album in our house these days. This album is from the Dropkick Murphys, a band that may be familiar to some of you. They're a band that has been important to me since I first saw them over 20 years ago, and I've seen them probably more than 50 times since. When Crystal and I first started our relationship, she immediately took to the band as well, despite her previous music taste being a bit more centered on boy bands, about as far away from the Boston Irish punk music taste of the Dropkick Murphys as you can get. In the 17 years that we've been together now, Crystal has happily traveled with me all over the Northeast and has seen them dozens of times herself now. In fact, the first dance at our wedding was to a Dropkick Murphys song. And now, as we raise our 2 lovely girls, they've taken a real shine to the band as well. Kids' music was rarely, if ever, played in my car when the kids were younger. And now, anytime the kids hop in the back seat of my car, the first question is always, can we listen to the Dropkick Murphys? I don't think I've ever said no. And Alexa, our older, has now been to see them live twice already, and I hope there's many more concerts with her and eventually Grace in our future. And music has been something that has allowed us to be present and in the moment as a family, as we sing loudly, and in my case, quite terribly, and dance around the kitchen or the family room together, and just be together, even if only for a few songs.
Let us honor and bless this family.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm here with Noah and Michael and Julia zooming in at some point. And we want you to know that there is always grilled chicken in our fridge, the Tupperware. Julia and Noah seem to measure Michael's and my emotional safety on that grilled chicken. But the chicken is simply an example of our need to have a constant in our lives, something predictable, on hand at all times. All four of us prefer life to be free of big decisions, like what's for dinner, and huge changes. We are safe when we see what's coming. In recent years, one aspect of our family possibly challenged the expectation that life should be predictable, like chicken in the fridge. We were reminded of this when asked what's up with the kids. The query used to be what college, and is now where do they live? Are they in a relationship? Not wanting to shy away from a perfectly healthy situation, I often share that my daughter has a girlfriend, to which I hear, "Wonderful, that's big news. Did you know?" With an interesting stress on big. Similarly, when asked about our youngest, we are often informing people that his name is now Noah. And we hear, "Whoa, that's great. That's a big change for all of you." Again, big sounds special. Supportive or not, there's a focus on my children's change. I can feel the assumption that an adjustment was made in our family. Folks seem to perceive a constant and predictable quality has disappeared. That might explain why I find myself looking for a huge wave to overwhelm us, some big shift to prepare for. In April, I visited Julia and met her girlfriend. Prior to dinner, I wondered, will I feel connection? Do I need to mother Julia differently? I had a good meal, fish, not chicken, with two great people who are happy and happy together. I did not have to be different. My Julia was still my child, just more grown up. The constant was intact. And with Noah, where there seems to be a huge focus from the world regarding his transition, Mike and I wondered what we needed to be ready for. Would we have to say goodbye to something, to someone? But moving through the final steps of physical transitioning with him, both Michael and I experienced our own big moments of looking at Noah and seeing the same 25-year-old just wanting to snuggle with the dog, eat lobster rolls, and watch the Celtics. In so many ways, nothing has changed. That might be obvious for a bunch of you sitting in the pews, but parents worry. So this was profound. We realized that in many ways, this is not a big deal because Noah has always been here. My kids are who they have always been. On the one hand, they grow and enter new relationships like Julia, yet they are both unchanged. I know they are here for us, being the same happy, thoughtful, involved, engaged, and a bit goofy kids who always check that mom and dad have chicken in the fridge. No big decisions to make, just love them. Thank you.
We honor and bless this family. How do you fight the draw of devices and the busyness of life to make time for those most precious to you? What brings you together with those you love, even when so much seems to be pulling all of us in different directions? Is it playing games? Is it floating or swimming? Is it dancing or singing in the kitchen? What might you want to do more of? How do love and laughter help you navigate the after effects of COVID and a culture that does not always accept and nourish us all the way that we deserve? What roots hold you close? What community care sets you free? And where does love weave its way through your family, chosen, single, blended, busy, beautiful, through all your changes and all that does not change? What loving presence to one another, just the way we are, is both simple and profound in your life and relationships? May we hold the stories we have heard and the truths that they evoke. May we hold these truths and these beloved families, all our beloved families, deep in our hearts as we join together in singing our closing hymn, number 354, We Laugh, We Cry. We'll sing verses 1, 2, and 4. Please rise in body or in spirit.
We sing our song.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
In the holes that life always leaves, in the wholeness that is also always there, in the holiness of the sacred, in the everyday. May we carry with us the love and laughter of this place and let it light our way as we help light the way of those around us. May it be so.